sliding around. It's live. It is it? Is it? I don't believe you. Yeah, I don't believe you. Where is it, huh? Clear your cache. Clear your cache. I got it. All right. Bam. Let's go. I'm going to take a hit of my caffeine. Straight to the bloodstream. This week at Bungie, 10/22/2020. For the longest time, I didn't know this was a timer. I always thought it just said O as in like, oh, DMG. But it's actually a timer. Story and Sandbox. Before we kick off the TWaB, I have to ask, have you watched the new trailer for Beyond Light yet? No. While we aren't doing to dive deeply into spoiler territory between now and launch, this is the moment where we say it's time for you to go to the dark you've been looking and to experience the expansion with no knowledge of what's coming. So if you don't know anything about this game, chat, or the expansion, probably should mute Twitter. Probably should leave here. I mean, I would love you to be here, but spoilers, right? Story of the trailer. I have seen this. It's great.
Chains! For centuries we have been bound by them. We have become pawns of our own devices. No longer.
Darkness walks among us. We are all in great danger. My kind must survive. Please, send help.
Where is the signal coming from?
Here, Europa.
Dude, this music too.
Wait! Old friend, these powers, they are changing you.
Aramis's presence on Europa is not happenstance. Obsession propelled her here.
Our enemies stand no chance against this power. The great machine will finally know our pain.
It's so good! I don't think there's anything extra, is there? Yeah, it's just like pre-order and all that stuff. So a few highlights there. One, in combat, we can get the stasis debuff, which looks like you probably die when that happens. It's not good. Another thing that's very interesting to me is that all of that power that the Fallen are wielding, it appears like they have to physically have something to use it. Kind of like, I don't know how many of you guys play D&D, but typically a lot of magic, in order to cast it, you have to have like a component. And without it, you can't be like Fireball. You have to have, like, in lore, something that allows you to cast it. So it's kind of interesting versus us, where we just have our connection with the Traveler natively, so we can do all this crazy shit. We don't need to have a specific thing. Yeah, like a focus, exactly. So yeah, it seems kind of like a catalyst of some sort for him. We have a ghost, but not like, I guess, but it's not like attached to us. I guess we haven't seen enough things, but it looks like those are physically injected into them. But I guess you're right. I guess the ghost kind of works the same way, but it's not physically attached to us. I just thought that was interesting, right? By comparison. I don't think I saw any of them like without it being physically injected. Like it changes them natively. Like they were like around her neck too. Yeah, I saw them in the back versus having like feathers. They were ice shards. But I guess like in a digital age, we should understand that you can be connected to something without physically attaching to it. So I guess maybe they are the same. But either way, it seems like that shard can 3D print that power. You saw like the The same thing that we see in the Contact public event. It dumps out a little like shard that they can grab and then use stasis. So I guess it's almost kind of like how the Traveler can give us ghosts. That shard can give the stasis power as well. So I guess anybody. I wonder if that's how we get ours. Maybe we steal it. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. I thought that was interesting. Also, we talk again, which is cool. You know. Pretty dope. We could be given one. It'd be interesting if like we meet Aramis, and then she's just like, here you go. But I doubt it. Anyways, Aramis on a warpath. Varix warns of catastrophe. The Exo Stranger has been waiting for you. A few extra details will be found on the Beyond Light story page on BungieNet. Jump if you'd like to know more. Soon, you'll be exploring Europa in search of answers. Whether you be a lone wolf or a part of a fire team, we'll leave that path for you to walk. 2 weeks ago, we began a conversation about Sandbox tuning. So I guess they're getting, the 110 hand cans are going to 120s. Arm modifications are getting some hefty changes from reloads to raids. If you missed it, check out the October 8th TWaB. This week, our focus shifts to the weapons in your arsenal. As with our mods preview, we have a collection of patch notes accompanied by developer commentary. All right, you ready? Let's pass the microphone over to the dev team for some juicy details. Hello! Today we'll be covering some changes to a few specific weapons and weapon families. For those of you who don't have much knowledge of our sandbox, each weapon has a specific frame that is also tied to its associated rate of fire, ROF. We've included both of these for a bit of clarity, as many players default to rate of fire when talking about various weapons. As an example, aggressive hand cannons currently have a rate of fire of 110 rounds per minute. Hand cannons. We are making changes to give hand cannons subfamilies more diversity and more reasons to use each. Aggressive hand cannons are universally going from 110 to 120 rate of fire. Broke out aggressive hand cannons allowing custom tuning of stats. Damage fall off for 100 range in the subfamily now starts at 32 meters. Range stat now has more impact on minimum damage fall off range for both archetypes. Damage fall off for 100 range now starts at 25 meters was 20. Precision hand cannons, 180 rate of fire magazine scaled by 37%. Also affect exotics with this rate of fire. Is the Sunshot a 180? I don't think it is. What is the exotic hand? I guess. What exotic hand cannon is a 180? Keep reading. Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. Moved all. Oh, is it Malfeasance? I literally never play Malfeasance. Moved all lightweight hand cannons 100 rate of fire to adapt to subfamily 140. Oh, I see. This includes Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten. One exotic hand cannon will retain 150 rate of fire. We aren't going to leave it to speculation. It's beautiful. It does solar damage, makes enemies explode. It's Sunshot. Yay! At this time, lightweight 150 rate of fire hand cannons represent the majority of hand cannon usage in the Crucible. While we experimented with many different ways to even out lightweights, 150 rate of fire, and adaptives, 140, lightweight hand cannons consistently retained a faster time to kill TTK. As such, we opted to equalize their rate of fire. We selected 140 ROF as is fairly balanced in the Crucible sandbox. It gives other weapon archetypes more time to breathe between each shots, avoids an overabundance of hand cannons with faster time to kill than other weapons, and pairs nicely with upcoming changes to 600 rate of fire auto rifles. I do like how they kept it the Sunshot then. Sunshots, you actually see it in Crucible occasionally, but it's a little more unwieldy compared to the other like legendary 150 ROF hand cannons. Not by a lot, but I feel like it's a tad harder to get precision hits with it. So because of it, I like that change a lot. So just kind of removing the 150 and making everything 140, I think that's a good choice. So I like that change on paper. Sniper rifles, we want sniper rifles to feel powerful without being so easy to use that they dominate. Just to how aim assist is affected by sniper rifle zoom level, lower zoom scopes have less aim assist, higher zoom scopes have more. Scopes with around 50 zoom are unchanged. Lowest zoom scopes have a large reduction in aim assist cone angle. Highest zoom scopes have a small increase. That's probably a really good change due to the fact that, like, on controller, the short zoom snipers are really, really good. They've been that way since D1. Like, where you can kind of be basically flinched out of your shot and still land it, because that's how strong the aim assist is. So we'll see. I'm curious. Auto rifles. In Season of the Worthy, the adaptive archetype, 600 rate of fire, was given a buff. We are pulling that back a little to keep it in check with other auto rifle archetypes. Damage per bullet reduced from 15.75 to 14.25. Prior Season of the Worthy, damage per bullet was 13.75. Scouts have a reasonable time to kill, and that's actually pretty fucking huge, that nerf right there. Because that means if it takes, like, it'll probably take an extra bullet to kill somebody then. I don't know that math off the top of my head. If you land all headshots. I'm curious what the difference is if you land all body shots. Scouts have a reasonable time to kill and can't be adjusted too much without making them dominant in the battlefield. That's actually really true. Make them a little easier to use. So they have a better aim assist stats and a better cone. But, like, that doesn't... I assume that's going to impact keyboard and mouse the same way it always has. There's kind of... The way aim assist and targeting works with a mouse versus a controller. A controller, you can aim at something, and let's say you're aiming at this wall in front of you, right? And a target runs right to left in front of you.
Oh,
your reticule,
look at that.
reticule, when it goes on top of that target, it'll follow them for a brief moment. It'll kind of guide your hand. But aim assist, when you're using a mouse, typically the change there is that they have a wider hitbox. Your bullets kind of seemingly bend almost. I believe the term is bullet magnetism. I can't remember if that's still how it works in Destiny, but that's why an aim assist change is kind of nice, because it means you should be able to hit your headshots a bit easier. But I honestly don't know. Aim assist on mouse is strange. Anyways, cool. Launchers. Heavy weapons currently have very low reserves, so we're adjusting that. We expect to take another look at the rocket launchers future season. Yeah, please do. Reserves by 1 or 2 rockets depending on the inventory stat. Cool. General. It needs more than that. It needs like a perk rework. I think they need to rethink how rockets work in general. Anyways, the following is a list of surgical changes for select weapons based on player feedback. Some of these changes apply to weapons that are a little too far ahead of other options, while others apply small buffs to increase the weapon's effectiveness. Outlaw. Increased reload speed. Increase felt insufficient with certain subfamilies and combinations of rolls. Increase for hand cannons. Increases reload stat bonus from 50 to 70. Oh, wow. Did not think that Outlaw was just going to get better. Merciless has way more reserve ammo. I really like that change. I still would like fusions to get kind of looked at. I would like to have a couple options for top-end content. Maybe Merciless is that option now, with it having a lot more options or a lot more ammo. Mountaintop, I'm assuming, is getting neutered. We've had a ton of feedback. The Mountaintop feels a bit over the top in crucible modes. Really? Also, over the top. Like a mountain. This pinnacle weapon has had ample time to shine, so we're taking it down a notch. Specific pain points. One-shot body with infinite range. Quick and easy cleanup of wounded guardians even around corners. Deals high splash damage, rewarding players for inaccuracy. Perfect in-air accuracy allows airborne guardians to rain down death, and there's not much grounded guardians can do to respond. Changes. Splash damage. 33% smash. Increased impact damage such that the total damage is 5% lower than before. So for PvE, little to no difference. Honestly, that means if you're running an appropriate damage mod, you're still going to do more than base previously. Reduced projectile velocity multiplier with the micro missile perk from 1.4 to 1.2, so it's slower. Interesting. And you no longer have perfect in-air accuracy. Those are honestly pretty good.
Welcome to the dinosaur tea party.
I wonder if that means, if that splash damage change means you can't splash somebody and then hit them once with a hand cannon and they're dead. I wonder if now you have to at least get a headshot or get 2 shots on them. So we'll see. I'm very curious. I like all those changes. Is it going to still be very good? I think so. I don't believe that this change is really going to fix this one. If you're wounded, I think it's still going to do 100 damage to you, probably. So we'll see. Guillotine. Reduced heavy attack. Yikes. So it's still good. It's still going to be probably the best heavy attack sword in the game. But it's not going to be like... I mean, so I'm sure they've done the math, so I'm sure that they know that the Guillotine is still the best damage sword in the game. But I wonder by how much. If it's by like 1%, then like use whatever though, right? Interesting. Okay. Cool. Mida Mini Tool. Move the Mida Synergy trait to the intrinsic, similar to how the Baroque version works. So that's worded weird. What does it mean, trait to the intrinsic? As in... So now you always have it active? I'm not sure I understand how that's worded. Can someone explain it to me? Sorry for being dumb. It doesn't take up a perk slot. Got it. Sorry. Understood. So now you can have the synergy perk and then a normal amount of perks. Thank you. Sorry. The way that was worded, I didn't understand. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate you. So honestly, I thought it was already doing that. So awesome. Added the following perks: hip fire, grip, and kill clip. Dope. There's an issue with the masterwork on this weapon that prevents it from being upgraded. This will be fixed in a later update. Sturm and Drang. Moved the Together Forever trait to the intrinsic, so same thing there. And now it can get accurarized rounds and moving target. Same thing with the bug as before. Ruinous Effigy. Reduce the damage of the aerial melee attacks by 25%. Slightly reduce the damage of the drain effect on enemy combatants. I don't feel like it was that good, but maybe this is like a change in regards to how future content is made. Maybe this is like kind of similar to when they remember before Last Wish came out, they nerfed Code of the Commander because literally I believe Code of the Commander would break the second part of the raid. Because I believe so there's all these ads, and pre-nerf Code of the Commander could like tag one person and then literally everybody exploded. It was hilarious. But now, you now know what Code of the Commander is now. So this seems like a lot. I don't know. I don't feel like I want to use that, so I don't know if I agree with this nerf. They obviously have the data, but why hit something that's already what I would qualify as a niche weapon that even potentially underperforms in most content? But is what it is. Arbalest no longer strikes shields multiple times, but its efficacy against shielded targets has been increased. I don't know if that's a nerf or a buff because they don't say numbers. Jade Rabbit. AP rounds are high cal rounds. This fixes an issue that can prevent the exotic perk from triggering. Yikes. Some of these aggressive changes look pretty hefty. Looking forward to seeing your reactions when first hearing that aggressive hand cans be shifted to 120. I wondered if it would be enough to push them into the hands of my guardian. I can safely say after quite a few playtests, I have a bunch of new favorite hand cans that have been waiting for their time to shine. Now let's take a look at the new hotness coming to a lighthouse near you. Before we let our friends and development team go, we have a few more details concerning weapons to share with you. A few months back, we announced the return of AdUp Weapons to the Trials experience. Today, we'll be spending some time getting you reacquainted with these tools of destruction and how we're laying the groundwork for future AdUp weaponry. While these weapons are similar in name to the AdUp's Destiny 1, there are some added elements to embrace the weapon systems of Destiny 2. With that, we pass the mic back to the development team to give you a full rundown. Dev team. Beginning in Beyond Light, all existing Trials weapons have AdUp versions. Our intent is for all new Trials weapons to have an AdUp version in the future. With their infusion caps matching the season they were introduced in, for our first round of AdUps, their infusion caps will be set to that of the Season of the Worthy. Additionally, we will be introducing AdUp weapon mods into the Sandbox in Beyond Light, which can only be applied to AdUp weaponry. Interesting. Here is how AdUp weapons differ from base weapons. Masterworking is going to grant additional stats. Plus 10 for the primary stat as usual, and then plus 3 for every other stat. AdUp weapons can use either a standard weapon mod or a new AdUp weapon mod earned when going flawless. A unique AdUp shader has been made for these weapons. These shaders are not rewarded as a consumable when dismantling an AdUp weapon. As such, they cannot be applied to other pieces of gear. I don't know if I agree with that, but I still like it. I'd rather have that than not have it, so. What are those mods? Two varieties. Weapon stat boost, so just like plus 10 range. Got it. Versions of some existing mods granting an improved bonus, like AdUp Mag is plus 40 magazine, minus 20 handling, Backup Mag is plus 30. Dope. Turn AdUp Weapons and AdUp Weapon mods. Players must complete a Flawless Trials passage to open the Flawless chest at the Lighthouse. Each week, a different AdUp Weapon, AdUp mod can drop from the Flawless chest. AdUp Weapon mods will be on a weekly rotation, so a given mod may not make its appearance until later in the season. This mod is unlocked for use on owned AdUp Weapons when acquired. AdUp Weapons will be available from the Flawless chest on a bi-weekly basis, alternating with armor drops. The first AdUp Weapon acquired on a given week is a Pinnacle drop. AdUp Weapons will be on a set rotation, so players may continue to earn alternate rolls on specific AdUp Weapons for completing Flawless passages throughout a given weekend. All right, before I read on, things about that. I like the system. It's cool. It keeps people who love trials in every single week. Downside, it does not fix the intrinsic issues that Trials still has towards a diminishing player base week after week after week after week. This is still a large problem with Trials. It is a game mode that basically is always going to have less players one week into another. Still, with no real changes there. I like how there is a reason to go to the Lighthouse. I think that's great. I love this AdUp system, and I think it's nice. Another thing. Am I going to know ahead of time what my Pinnacle drop is going to be? Is the very first week of Trials going to have a weapon, or is it going to have armor? I would wager it's going to have a weapon because they want to have it go, running. But, it would be nice if in the UI, the game would tell me Pinnacle weapon, Pinnacle armor if I went Flawless. That would be nice. So, yeah,
Welcome to the Dinosaur Tea Party.
This is not me saying I don't want these weapons to exist. Bungie, make raid weapons good. If you are giving PvP players this, which I think they should have, not saying that, make raid weapons equally good. Give us the same shit. Make raid AdUp weapons. But historically, the raid weaponry is almost always incredibly lackluster. Giving us extra mods to make them superior or at least interesting, please. Please, please, please. So I'm not saying take this away from PvP folks. I'm just saying, as a raider, mostly, I would really like to want to use the weapons I acquire in the raid, which I really haven't done in years. I'll use one or two, but very, very, very rarely am I ever using the weapons I discover inside of the raid. Look at usage stats. I'm pretty certain that those stats agree with me. I'm not going to count the exotics from the raids because they're unique. Anarchy's amazing. 1K, amazing. But, I'm so tired of it being, one or two good weapons for the entire raid. And then it's also those weapons have to roll decently well. Please give us good raid weapons. Please. Thank you. I love you. You're great. I want my shit to look cool, but I also want it to be effective. Great. Cool. Good talk. As you can see, for those who reached Lighthouse, your loot is about to get a little more spicy. While AdUp rewards are coming first, we also have a Trials armor refresh plan for the future season after the Stardust has settled from Beyond Light. With that, we come to an end to our Sandbox previews leading up to Beyond Light. Some of you may be asking, wait a minute, what about abilities? You didn't say anything about my favorite subclass. In 3 short weeks, the abilities you've come to know and master will be challenged by the darkness. Stasis will make its debut, bringing a new flavor of combat to the Sandbox. The team will be watching closely as you embark on your first strikes, game matches, and Crucible exercises to see how your abilities stack up against each other. Is that you saying that you're not going to be changing anything about the ability Sandbox? Because, I'm pretty certain, I guess you're not. Is it just those new exotics? Yeesh. I don't know if I agree with that. But I guess it is true that, they're introducing a brand spanking thing new to the ecosystem. Maybe don't change anything else because, literally, it's going to be broken. So I can understand it, and there is some new exotics in play too, but I feel like they could do a little bit of tweaking. But I understand. We'll see how it goes. Prime time! If you have Prime Chat with Prime Gaming, you get free shit. Emote, Ghost, Ship, Sparrow, Dabs. It's amazing. Cryptomnesia, Sparrow, 8-1's Lone Wolf Ship, Peerless Precision, Ghost Shell, and Flare Gun emote. Cypher Search, Festival of the Lost has reached its halfway mark, and Destiny player support is keeping an eye out for scary bugs as we approach the final days of the event. While no major issues have been found, we do have a few reminders on items to complete and note on the Interference Loop Triumph. Interference Loop. Due to the extension of Season of Rivals, the no-crit encounter for the Interference Weekly Quest will remain for the remainder of the season. This means players who have missed the previous Interference encounter will be unable to access those encounters and will be unable to claim the Interference Loop Triumphs. I feel like this is a mistake. I think that they should patch in something to allow you to do a no-crit fight or to do one of the Interference things. Granted, the easy response there is me saying, oh, hey, but, you know, you had 3 or 4 months to do this before now. What if you took a long break? So I get that's a fair argument that if you have not been playing, you shouldn't get it for free, and you sometimes do miss things. But, I mean, not knowing that Interference is going to be gone, and you can't get it that time without enough foreknowledge, don't like that. So while I understand it, it would be nice if they have something to allow players to do that. I already have it, so it's not no skin off my back. I'm just talking about you, chat, if you've missed it. Titles. Unlock and equip these, chat, if you haven't finished, or you might lose them. Shadow, Reckoner, Blacksmith, Wayfarer, Chronicle, Forerunner, or else. Known issues. The Convergence Ornament for Transversive Steps clip through the front of some Warlock robes. Yes, they do. We are investigating an issue where Ashen Wake can cause damage to allies. The Unbridled Enthusiasm exotic emote is not playing audio as intended. And then we have stuff as per usual. 12 kills in 20 seconds with a sword. Cool. The days are continuing to grow shorter here in Seattle. They really are. It's like 5 o'clock and then like the moon's coming out, dude. Pretty soon, Destiny won't be the only thing enveloped in darkness, and I, for one, can't wait. Only 2 more TWaB stand between you and Europa. Before we go, we've been seeing a lot of questions in the wild on how bounties, currencies, and progression systems will be updated beyond light. We're currently working to get the info together and making sure everything is factual. This isn't a prepper's guide to the galaxy, mind you, just a heads up on how these systems are changing. Our current plan is to cover those topics next week. The most frequent question we're seeing right now concerns bounties and whether they'll be cleared at the start of the next season. Most of your bounties will stay intact, but any bounties tied to a specific seasonal activity or content entering the DCV will be removed on November 10th. Examples would include Black Armory, Gambit Prime, Festival of the Lost bounties. Additionally, any bounties that grant progression towards Infamy Valor may negatively impact your powerful rewards, as they'll be limited to the Season of Arrival's power levels. Our recommendation is to go ahead and claim your bounties just to make sure you don't miss out on any XP or glimmer. More to come next week. See you then.